friends. I'm your host, Erin Port, and welcome to the Simple Purposeful Living podcast. Life can be overwhelming and busy, so once a week, I invite you to join me, and together we will make simple tweaks to uncomplicate the hard parts of our life so we can spend more time doing what we love. Welcome back, friends. We're halfway through May. How are you feeling? Are you feeling like you're conquering all the things, or do you feel like all the things are conquering you? Well, I wanted to pop in today with a quick episode, what I hope will be quick, to talk to you about weekly systems. Specifically, our Sunday rhythm that sets our week up for success. And you may be thinking, why are we talking about systems in May? I don't have time for one more thing. But here's the truth. When you're in survival mode, you think you don't have time to set a rhythm, but the rhythm is what is going to save you. I always think of weekly systems, those rhythms, those routines, as the backbone of our lives. I think of our daily routines as the bones, right? Your arms, your legs, right? They help us to get where we go. But if you don't have weekly systems in place, that backbone, your daily systems are not going to run as smoothly. And if you don't have daily or weekly systems, everything else kind of falls apart, right? Because we need our bones to hold structure to our body, to help our organs work. It's the same. If we have weekly and daily routines, they make everything else in our life run more smoothly. And you know, I like to make life 100 times easier and lighter for you, and weekly systems help with that. They're not flashy. They're not fancy, but like I said, they quietly prop up everything else: meals, laundry, all the other routines, and honestly, our sanity. And honestly, that's pretty important. When they're in place, like I said, everything feels 100 times easier. And when they're missing, you feel it. If you don't have a system for something, it feels chaotic. It feels like you're scrambling. It feels like you're stretched thin and constantly reacting instead of calmly and proactively responding. And we all prefer to be proactive than reactive. James Clear says it best: you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And that's really where I started to understand the power of a system, the intentionality of a system. And I always tell you, your awareness to something is your superpower, because when we become aware of something and how important it is, we can be more intentional about doing those things purposefully, right? I always tell the story. When I was a teacher, I would praise my students, not just for their performance, but for their effort. Like, you really put a lot of effort into that. And I just did that. And then one day my boss came in and left me a note and said, I really like the way that you praise the kids, not just for their performance or, their whatever they're putting on the paper, but actually like their work ethic and their effort. And that awareness of me doing that, suddenly then I was able to do that intentionally going forward. Maybe you've had that in your life, right? Where you've done something and then somebody said, I really appreciate that you do that. And now that you know that, you're going to do that on purpose, right? Our kids are the same way. So if you want them to repeat something that is helpful or good, pointing it out and helping them to be aware of it is going to help them to do that even more. So that's the same with weekly systems. If I can point it out and explain to you and help you be aware of how they're practical in your life, then you, now that you're aware, can be purposeful about doing those things. So that's why I wanted to share with you about our Sunday rhythm. I get lots of questions online about our Sunday rhythm. It has become one of my most important rhythms of anything that we do throughout the week. It sets us up for success, and it's literally, we've just stacked lots of little habits on top of each other over the course of time, right? We've tweaked our way to our personal, perfect, simple Sunday rhythm, and you will as well. But I kind of want to walk you through what that's our Sunday looks like, so that in the month of May, maybe you can incorporate some of these things to help you go from chaos and stress and reacting to building some of these things into your week so that you can be proactive and make life easier. Okay. It resets our home. Our Sunday routine resets our home. It resets our mind and it resets our teamwork as a family. I'm not doing any of this on my own. I have invited my family. I've delegated some of the tasks because, as I always tell you, we're not just raising adults or we're not just raising kids, we're raising future adults. And so inviting them in not only teaches them to help in the here and the now and lightens my load, but it also prepares them for their future. And when I have that perspective, I don't feel as guilty about asking for help. Okay, so let's walk through what our Sunday looks like. Most Sundays, again, we'll talk about like this isn't every Sunday. There are exceptions to the rule, just like a backbone bends and flexes, and if it doesn't, it's not good, right? We're uncomfortable. Same with our Sunday system, but we start with church. We get up, we get dressed, we go to early church, usually 8:45, and so we do that. And then after church, Scott usually takes me to Aldi. It's in town. We live in a smaller town outside of a slightly bigger town, so it's about 15 minutes away, which doesn't seem like much, but we tend to be one of those small town people. And if you're from a small town, you can relate. Like while we're in quote unquote town, we're going to do these things. And that's kind of how it started, but it's worked really well for us. So Scott drops me off at Aldi. I take my quarter, my bags, and my meal planner, and I go in and I get my groceries for the week. I normally meal plan either Friday or Saturday, so I've got my grocery list and I'm ready to go. Then he takes the 4 kids to the car wash. A couple of years ago, he got me a car wash membership for Mother's Day. It is the gift that keeps on giving. I love a clean car. I just do. I'm in my car a lot and I prefer a clean car. And so he takes it, they wash it, and then many hands make light work. All 4 kids help him vacuum out the car, clean out the car, all the trash that they somehow accumulate throughout the week, snack wrappers, all that kind of stuff. They come back with a clean car to pick me up at Aldi. We put the groceries in and we head home. Again, depending on how many groceries we have, everybody helps me put them away. My girls and Quincy tend to be my snack putter awayers. So we have those snack baskets that we divide out by weeks. Usually Costco, we take care of that for the month, but I might replenish a few things here and there. So they'll take care of that. I also have Quincy help me do any of the fruit that needs to be washed. If there's grapes to be plucked, Scott or Solon normally takes care of any of like the drinks that need to be put in the beverage fridge in the basement. And then I am doing a veggie box. So we get a bunch of produce and I make a little veggie box. My veggie box, I can link in the show notes. It just has 4 little squares and I get different veggies every week. My family likes things like broccoli, snap peas, colored peppers, cucumbers, carrots. I found that my kids actually prefer regular carrots, so I buy a big container of carrots and then it's really easy actually to just use a potato peeler and cut up carrots, cucumbers, tomatoes, you name it, and I put it in the veggie box. Here's why this works. We eat way more veggies if I have that veggie box prepped for the week. Same with my produce. If I have my produce prepped for the week, it just is so much easier. And then I put that veggie box out for every dinner. So we always have fresh raw veggies to eat. And I find that we even will eat those or snack on those while we're making dinner, which is a great option. If you've ever read Glucose Revolution, you'll know that there's an order in which you eat your food and veggies should always be first. And so it kind of is a good double whammy win where kids are usually hungry before dinner. If I have that set out, they'll come by and grab a carrot of their own volition. But anyway, I make the veggie box and then I usually make a big lunch on Sunday. I love cooking for my family. In this season of our life, I can't always cook like a really elaborate meal. I shouldn't even say elaborate. They're not elaborate, but like more of a meal that we all love that takes a little more time. I usually make that on Sunday and I try to double it, either the protein. So if I'm making chicken, I try to make extra chicken. If I'm making a bunch of veggies, I'll make extra. Last week I did crispy potatoes, and then like hibachi, zucchini, onions, and mushrooms. And I just made a ton so that I could use them under eggs all week for my lunches. Super simple. I'm already doing all the work, so making it just a little bit more isn't a big deal. And I put all of that in the fridge after lunch, leftovers for a couple of days. And then we clean up the kitchen as a family, right? My kids unload the dishwasher usually in the morning. And then we put our dishes in the dishwasher. And then the kids, we divide and conquer for our Sunday sweep. So I stay in the kitchen, I put away all the food, wash the dishes, wipe the counters, vacuum, and then mop the main floor. A couple of months ago for Valentine's Day, I asked for the Tinaco cordless vacuum mop. My honest review, I love it for the fact that it's cordless and I can almost do my entire main floor without having to change out the water. However, I still do vacuum with my Dyson before I use it. It's just a preference thing, but I do like it. Somebody noticed that I got rid of my steam mop. I do like the Tineco uh, for that Sunday mopping. I love a clean, fresh floor, and it does make it pretty quick. So I do that. I kind of tidy the main spaces. The kids divide and conquer. So two of my kids are upstairs, Solon or Quincy and Vera. So Vera vacuums the upstairs and tidies her room. Quincy scrubs the toilet. We taught him how. It's always important to teach them how. And Scott's kind of the manager. He kind of oversees and kind of helps coach them too, especially the younger ones. And then he sprays the countertops and wipes them off. Remember, we keep all of our cleaning supplies, non-toxic cleaning supplies in our bathroom. So it's really easy for our kids. There's a roll of paper towels and the spray in each of their bathrooms so they can just go ahead and do that really quickly. Same in the basement. They have a kid domain down there, so all four kids usually help pick that up. Then Solon vacuums the downstairs, and Loosetail takes care of the basement bathroom. They take care of their own bedrooms. Scott's usually helping with the laundry. He's kind of our chief Sunday laundry officer. I do during the week, and he kind of has taken over on the Sunday while I'm doing everything else, which is really nice. So then he's helping, give all the kids their clothes so they can put them away. Remember, we don't fold most of their shirts and things. And we do our laundry by person, so it just makes it super simple. And Vera has actually taken over her own laundry, which is super helpful. She prefers it. We are fully on board with that. So teaching them how to do their laundry. So that is our Sunday sweep. So it literally only takes us about an hour from the time we're sitting down for lunch, this nice family lunch, which I love to do. We get up, we put our dishes away, and then everybody goes and divides and conquers. It's literally, I would say it's like 45 minutes, if that. We do it every single week. So the house hasn't gotten too out of control. The rooms haven't gotten too out of control. And then we're done for the rest of the day. And I know it sounds like it's a lot of work, but it's not. And then we have the rest of the afternoon and evening to do our thing. We do choose your own adventure for dinner that night. So any leftovers from the weekend, cheese and crackers, whatever the kids want, we enjoy that. And everybody takes showers and gets ready for the next day. And we go into Monday just ready to go. I forgot to mention, while Scott has the kids at the car wash, he also fills my car with gas. So nice because I'm never running to baseball practice on empty in the middle of the week. Even if the car doesn't need gas, say we have a half tank, we just always top it off on Sunday. I'm telling you, that might be the tweak you need if nothing else. Now, some of you are probably asking like, hey, do you nail this every Sunday? Like, do you make sure you do this every Sunday? Well, like last week we had dance competition last weekend. It was Mother's Day, right? We didn't get to everything, but it's kind of like a song, right? Like we were at Easter a couple of weekends ago at my grandma's church, and they have all these verses, right? And Lucille was like, we sang every verse of that song. I was like, yeah, but sometimes maybe your Sunday sweep, you don't sing every verse. You just sing one verse or you sing two verses and you know what the non-negotiables are. Like for us, it's laundry. Like if nothing else gets done on a Sunday, if we get the laundry done, so we have clean clothes for the week, that is helpful. And then we know like, okay, we didn't get the spaces vacuumed this week or the main floor mopped. It's going to come back next week and we're going to get it done, right? Because it's rare that 2 weekends in a row, we wouldn't get to everything. But of course, we're flexing and it just really helps. But here's the thing, this Sunday rhythm, it reduces the decision fatigue. Like I water my plants as part of this, so I don't have to think about watering my plants all week. It's like a song on repeat. You just know the verses. I don't have kids complaining because it's just part of our routine. They just know what to expect. I think that's the biggest thing with kids and complaining is if it becomes consistent, they just know it's part of the task. And yeah, they might grumble, but they also know this is just what we do on Sundays and they have plenty of free time afterwards. It's flexible. Like I said, sometimes you would do all the verses. Sometimes you just do a few of the verses, depending. Like, oh, or maybe we had something in the morning and midday, so we do it at night. Or maybe we do it on Saturday because our Sunday's full. But it's flexible, but these main components really help simplify our life. And the more that you do it, here's what happens. The more you appreciate it, you appreciate the result, the way you feel all week long. You're motivated to do it because you're like, this is so helpful. This does make my life 100 times easier once you start to see the fruit of your labor. And then it also lightens that mental load. We've got a lot on our minds and our plates, especially this time of year. So there's no more waking up on Monday morning wondering where to start. We've already started. We've already gotten all the food in the fridge ready to go. The house is ready. The counters are clear. It just feels so much better. And it helps us from unraveling this time of year. So here's your tiny tweak of the week. Pick one simple thing to do every Sunday that sets your week up for success. You don't have to do our Sunday sweep. You don't have to go to the grocery store on Sunday. You don't have to go to church. But what's one thing that you can do every single week and stick with it for the next 3 weeks that's going to anchor you and make your life 100 times easier? Maybe it's filling your gas tank on a Sunday. Like, just habit stack that with somewhere you're going on Sunday, and or whatever day of the week works for you. It doesn't have to be Sunday, but if you're always going somewhere right next to a gas station, just stop at the gas station every single week at that time and know that your gas tank is filled. You never have to think about filling your gas tank again. Like, it's just done. Or maybe it's, I'm going to do my laundry on Sundays, and we just know that it's done. And I like doing it on Sundays because many hands make light work. I don't have to do it all on my own. And even the youngest kids can help you. Sure, it's not all folded and perfect in their drawers, but Quincy can put everything away. Kids can model what you teach them. So I always tell people, model what you want them to do. They need to see how it's done. Kids are visual learners. So if you model for them, like, this is what it looks like to do this, and you're going to have to do it a couple of times. Like I said, Scott's our kid manager. He's helping them. But the more they do it, the more that they repeat it, it becomes automatic for them. And again, it's an anchor that they can depend on. Like, I know when my laundry is going to be done. Maybe it's prepping the veggie box. Maybe it's sketching out your weekly plan. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, how important it is to sketch out your week and have a family conference explaining what's going on for the week, who's picking up what kid, where are people going to be. Maybe it's sketching out a quick weekly meal plan of like, okay, on Monday we're going to have sandwich night. One of the nights every single week is designated sandwich night. There's always a night of the week where we're just bananas, and sandwiches work just fine, okay? Or maybe it's a 15-minute tidy on Sunday of a high impact area. You don't even have to clean your whole house, but is there a space in your house where you're like, if I just tidied this area, it would make going into Monday feel so much less stressful? Because here's the thing, Kate talked about it last week on the podcast, and it's so true. There's a cumulative mental load building in May. And so there were things that maybe in the other months that didn't feel so overwhelming that now feel overwhelming. And so if we can simplify and tidy our spaces, if we can build some of these systems into our lives, it will make us feel like we're in more control. We have more say in how our life goes. And the goal isn't perfection. It's progress and predictability. Let it be light. Let it be flexible. Let it work for you. Because when you've got just a few good rhythms on repeat, that's when life starts to feel 100 times easier and lighter. Okay, so one more thing before I go. I've linked a couple of free printables in the show notes to help you lighten your load in May. Number one, my 7-day no-brainer meal rotation. So you're not standing in the fridge at 5 p.m. wondering what to make, needing to go to the grocery store, or going through the drive-thru. I have 7 different categories with different meals you can plug and play right into your meal planner. And you can get that free in our show notes or at simplepurposefullliving.com/meal plan. And then also I went ahead and just wrote out all the to-dos and important dates in the month of May to lighten our load. And I called it my May checklist. So I did it for myself, and I figured it's so helpful for me. I wanted to make it free for you. And you can also get that in the show notes so that you don't forget anything important in the month of May. Get it out of your brain and onto paper. It immediately lowers the stress levels. And you can also find that at simplepurposefullliving.com/May. And while you're in the show notes grabbing those 2 free printables, I've also linked some of my favorite Simple Purposeful Living tools like the weekly plan notepad and the meal planner. Again, I created them out of my own need for simple systems that automate the complicated parts of life, like our schedule or what we're going to eat. They're not just pretty, They're practical, and they're the tools that make my life and thousands of others feel 100 times easier and lighter. So go check them out, grab one of those notepads or meal planners, and I hope that they help you simplify your life. And as always, remember, I'm here to cheer you on and help support you and make life 100 times easier and lighter, because we only get one life and you don't need to overhaul it to love it. One tiny tweak will do. And maybe the tiny tweak you need is one of these simple weekly systems that's going to make your life a little bit easier for the rest of May. Have a great week, friends. If you liked this episode, it would mean so much if you'd share it with a friend or leave a quick rating and review so others can find our show. Until next time, you can find me at Simple Purposeful Living on Instagram and Facebook.